Module 4, Supporting Comprehension in the Secondary Classroom by Cameron Anderson. Major Subject Area. My major subject area is Social Studies, and today I will be discussing how social study teachers are able to support comprehension in their classroom. Choose and describe. The example of a text that students will have to read in Social Studies is a textbook. Social Studies is really unique compared to many other subject areas, because instruction can be performed using many different media types and platforms. One of the only few really good text-based sources that students can be given are textbooks. As David J. Francis and Mabel Rivera state in their article, Research-Based Recommendations for Instruction and Academic Interventions, ELLs, English language learners, need early, explicit, and intensive instruction in phonological awareness and phonics in order to build decoding skills. This just goes to show the importance of reading and literacy skills in classes other than English. All social textbooks are great sources of information. Chapters are divided into logically sound-based categories. All students have access to them, meaning they are fair and equitable for all. ELLs have resources in the teacher and other students to help them understand texts. The specific textbook I will be looking at is Issues for Canadians. This textbook is aimed at the grade 9 curriculum. I really like this textbook because it poses essential questions to students every chapter. Teachers are vessels from which students gain knowledge, but textbooks are akin to the fuel that runs the vessels. Because all students have access to textbooks, teachers can issue students with readings from the textbook, and because they are written with students in mind, they are easily understood, even by ELLs. Comprehension activities. Pre-reading. There are many strategies for pre-reading. Because English language learners can experience great difficulty jumping into new texts without any background support, students should know at least something about the topic before reading them. This is where the teacher comes in. The teacher can do many things to introduce the text to students. Even introducing the textbook becomes important when the student reader may be an ELL. Now for the strategy. I believe the strategy, direct, explicit instruction, introduced by David Moore, fits this well. Before reading a section from the textbook aloud, or before the students read a text, taking 5 to 10 minutes to build word and background knowledge should aid in increasing all students' comprehension of the text, especially for those that do not speak English primarily. Watching a natural speaker read, pronounce, and define words will provide immense help to ELL students. Begin by reviewing the chosen section and identifying the main concepts that will be taught. Take into account students' potential knowledge of these concepts, including the ELLs. Almost all chapters will have an opening page introducing students to the concepts that they will be looking at. This is a great time to see if any students or ELLs need additional help. During reading. It is more challenging to think of a strategy to use for during reading scenario. One of my favorites that I think would work well if applied correctly is metacognition. While not directly referred to as metacognition in the article, 7 Literacy Strategies at Work, a strategy referred to as read-alouds can be used instead. Metacognition is defined as thinking about thinking. Readers use metacognitive strategies to think about and have control over their reading. Before reading, they might clarify their purpose for reading and review the text. During the reading, students monitor their understanding, adjusting their reading speed to fit the difficulty of the text, and fixing any comprehension problems that they have. After finishing the section of reading they are currently on, they can check their understanding of what they read with the teacher or other students. During this whole process, the teacher is there to help answer any questions they have about the readings, such as concerns on what a paragraph is referring to, or how the individual pages fit into the grand scheme of the article. It is these discussions that students and teachers have that make me classify this as another method of read aloud. Post-reading. A great post-reading comprehension activity that I particularly enjoy is that of the exit slip. The exit slip, after reading strategy, is used to help students reflect what they have just learned. It helps them process concepts and express how or what they feel about the content learned. This strategy requires students to think critically and allows them to put their literacy skills to the test. Exit slips are great because not only taking a few students to do, the educator gets a quick informal assessment of how well the students understood what they just learned. If an ELL student is struggling during the reading, then afterwards, during the exit slip, that difficulty will become apparent. Teachers can use exit slips to make unique, personally structured scaffoldings to aid these students. Summary. Pre-reading. Direct, explicit instruction. During reading. Read-alouds. Metacognition. Post-reading. Exit slips. There are many different sources of text as well as reading comprehension strategies available for social studies teachers. Teachers can take from newspapers, biographies, historical accounts, and more, and all students have unique requirements. There is no such thing as a one-size-fits-all comprehension strategy, so as I develop as a teacher, I will work to continuously evolve my strategies.